Welcome to the Solo Female Traveler Podcast, your source to get out and explore the world, with your host, Luisana Colmenares.
So, hello everyone, my name is Luisana and welcome to the Solo Female Traveler Podcast. As I said in the episode before, I'm going to have my friend Wynne here sharing with us. And right now we're together. Today's Labor Day here in the States, and we are at a park having a really nice afternoon. I feel like in a movie, an American movie. We're having barbecue, playing games, everything is so perfect right now. Sitting under a tree right now. So yeah, Wynne, do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone. This is Wynne. Love to be part of the podcast from my friend here, Susanna. We know each other for a while, yeah?
Yeah, we met actually 3 years ago at a personal development program. And she was so nice to me. I remember one day I was hungry and she went and bought me snacks. And then I was like, oh, I want to start this podcast. It's about Vietnam and I love Vietnam. And I remember this really cool Vietnamese girl. And actually I asked a friend for her phone. He gave it to me. I called her, and she was so like, "Yeah, of course." And this is the third time we have seen each other since then. And then you're here helping, and we're here at the barbecue. Thank you so much.
I know. I'm actually excited since I also get a chance to reconnect with you. And we lost contact for like 2 years or so, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years, and I know we were having a really good time at that course, and we learned a lot. And I feel like we get connected to the point like I know you and you knew me, right? And so it's just cool to get a call from you one day out of nowhere and just like invite me to share about Vietnam, which that's the country I was born and came from like 14 years ago.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, of course. I want to take that as a yes, and I want to see what I can contribute here and share my part. So maybe the people that can listen to this podcast from Susanna can have an idea, maybe have a better understanding about Vietnam, and maybe also decide to visit Vietnam one day and learn about Vietnam and the Vietnamese people. Yeah?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, seriously, guys, Vietnam is one of my favorite countries. I am so happy to be here. And just right before I start recording, we were talking about how nice these people are, like how they go that extra mile to make you feel like home or make you feel good. And like a huge example about that is your dad. Like he's been like trying to making us.
So one thing, sorry for interrupting you, but so we were here at the park, right, having a barbecue together, and I have my father here with me, and he doesn't speak English, and he only speaks Vietnamese, and he would really just want to be helpful, I guess, in a way, right? So I would just want to introduce that part, right?
Yeah.
So I think like something about he with you when you were eating, and we just want to making sure you got the taken care of, right? Even if you were spending too long, it was like, have a seat, right? It was like so insist for you to sit down, right? It was just, at some point, maybe, what do you feel about that?
No, like to me, yeah, that just reminded me when I was in Vietnam that people were extra helpful. Like, for example, if once I went to a market and I was with these two ladies and they wanted me to use their Wi-Fi, to use their bathroom, they bought me juice, they want me to sit with them, even though we didn't share the same language. I didn't speak Vietnamese, I didn't speak English. And also everywhere I went, like the restaurants, like people were treating me extra well. So that to me, I wanted to start the podcast with that because that can be a little shocking for a Western because in here we're not used to that way of treating. So also, I wanted to ask you, Wynne, like besides that, what do you think that might be shocking for a Western when they visit Vietnam?
Well, in my opinion, I think you shared with me how some of the people were so interested in getting to know you, and it gets to the point where like, because if you are coming from a different country, right, and you came to Vietnam, right, and you just want to travel, right? But then they are the local people there. For them, it's like, wow, like these people are different than me, right? The skin color maybe, or the eyes, right? The nose shape, different things. So I think it's maybe awkward too when some people, they might say, is that the real nose, right? So they touch your nose, yeah?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So that might be awkward. That might be shocking, right? It's like maybe in America, it's like you are allowed or not allowed to touch the other person, right? Otherwise, you're gonna get into trouble too.
Yeah, no, I said it's like here in America, we have this thing about personal space. But yeah, but over there, like people are not like they're not afraid to touch you. Like that happened to me, like people touching my nose and my eyebrows. But yeah, I mean, to me, it wasn't. I didn't see it as something awkward. I was like, okay, like I get it. Like I am different, and that might happen to a lot of Westerns visiting Vietnam, and mostly if you go to the rural areas.
Oh yeah, and then maybe also this, like I know I don't know about other cultures, but like Vietnam, when you meet someone for the first time, you would notice that they prefer a handshake than a hugging. Right? Since for American, right, or like I don't know, I think more than just America people, we not just hug people, but we also kiss people on the cheeks.
Yes.
But over there, they're not quite used to that, right? So if you just ask for a hug, for them it's just weird, right? Or they would just like extend their hand for the handshake, and they're not quite getting used to the kiss on the face, on the cheeks, right?
Yeah. Sign up. Yeah, always give a handshake. Or I mean, I started a situation where you're there. Like imagine me as a like Latin American. Like we hug and kiss, and we're more enthusiastic than North Americans. And I was always like hugging everyone. We were like, okay, calm down. But yeah, okay, that's really good. And also, like for a woman, what do you think? I have two questions about that. This first one will be for a woman. Is there like if you're visiting, there's a certain way that you should behave, or certain rules that you should follow, or like you should dress in a certain way, or is it like totally okay to just be behave as if you were in the States, besides the handshake?
For women,
Yeah.
well, I think, well, in my opinion, right, I would just represent one of them. I'm not really every single woman there, so I cannot really talk for all of them.
Yeah.
But back in the day, right, like my parents' generation, which is like now they are in their 60s, right, or people in their 50s even, they would have a different way to consider to be like appropriate in a public environment. Right nowadays, for like millennial generation or the younger generation, we are more open. Like you can wear like stylish clothes and you be cool with that, right?
Yeah, right.
But for my parents, like, well, for women, you know, like one of the traditional clothes over there are áo dài. Áo dài, right? It's like it's the long dress, right? And so, in certain occasions, women prefer to wear those, right?
Yeah.
Could be like for different occasions now, like different events.
Right.
Could be like Lunar New Year. You can see a lot of them, different colors, right? Beautiful. Like
yeah, I remember those dresses. It's like it's a long dress, and then you put some pants underneath.
Yeah.
No, it's very beautiful. You guys should Google it. They're like traditional Vietnamese outfits. They're really, really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
But also, like, yeah, well, in my opinion, I noticed that Vietnamese women, they dress conservatively. Like long pants and shirts. I advise you, for you as a Western, like also kind of like follow those guidelines because you're gonna get a lot of attention just for looking different. So, and if you like dress in a very sexy way, you're gonna get extra attention. In my opinion.
Well, that's like normal in America to to be whatever ways you are, right? As long as you be comfortable, because you have that freedom in everything, Over there, there's also restriction, right? Because they don't know, like you follow the culture, or because if you are different, they're gonna make it so obvious that you're gonna stand out
Right.
in the crowd, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Does it make sense? So what that means is like well, people gonna have an opinion about, whoa, what did she wear? Like, that's weird. Is that like that's cool? That's different, right? Because they say it's so new, it's so different. Yeah, but I would say nowadays a lot of the younger generation, they are so open to, like American culture too, and they're not so restriction on the type of clothes that they wear. Back in the day, it's more strict,
Okay.
right? And like women, you're supposed to wear certain things, and even if you marry, right, like the spouse or the husband, it's also important that you're making sure you respect the husband. So you don't want to wear something like too crazy, open, like whole, like different areas and so sexy, right? Or like,
Right.
you see my point?
I see your point. Also, I wanted to ask you because I was in Dalat one night and we were with this Vietnamese family that were hosting us, and they prepared a nice dinner for us. But at the end, the only ones present at the dinner were the guys, and the women were in a separate room. So I wanted to ask you, why is that? I was usually the only woman because I was the only Western as well, the only Western female.
I guess the short answer, or I can share with you the long answer too, but it go back into the history, right? And how, like, just go back into like a couple hundred years though, like back into the history time where back in the day, before even wartime, because in a family, the first thing is that they actually have a lot of kids, right? So like husband and wife, when they get married, they're gonna have at least 6, 7, 8, 9 kids, or like double digit 10 kids plus. That's really normal,
Right.
because number one, they need the labor. There's one thing that you might want to understand about Vietnamese culture and the Vietnamese people, right, of the country, is that 80% plus are agriculture involved. So a lot of the time when people like you and I, we born there, years ago, 100 years ago, you might not really exposed to education that much.
Okay.
So you gotta make sure in the family there's gonna be a lot of labor involved. So if they have like guys, like boys, they born versus girls, they prefer to have the boys than the girls. That's number one. Number two is that even in the wartime, the guys are like go to war, right? And if something happens, they're gonna lose a lot of family members, right? So they prefer to have a lot of kids that way. But at the same time, it's like, well, imagine you are the guys and you're the bread feeder, right? You are the main person for the entire company of like 6, 7, 10 people.
Okay.
Guess what? There's a lot more responsibility for that guy, yeah?
Right.
But at the same time, because you are that person, the lady started to feel like, well, I'm making sure I take care of the house, and they become the housewife, and they started in the kitchen more, and they started cooking and taking care of the kids. And then eventually, when they seeing themselves in that role, it's like, wow, I'm making sure my husband, right, or my father or my grandpa, they all got taken care of first. And so when they cook for the guys, they're making sure they bring the food to the table, and all the guys gonna get fed first.
Okay.
And then it's their turn after. You see that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just part of how they wind up being in that culture. Nowadays, I see it's more open though, but some of the area is still that. It's still that, like the women, they still, and it's not like they hated that. They love that. They wanna be in that role where they are in the kitchen area. They cook and all these guys enjoy their food and eat first, and then they take care of the guys or their husband that way. I see that they really enjoy that role.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, because I will ask them, we were like, hey, why don't you guys join me outside? I'm like, no, we're okay here. Like,
they become so comfortable in that.
Yes.
It's not like they don't see themselves less than women.
Yes.
Maybe from us, like visitor or tourist,
Yes.
right? You are outside of that, you feel like, wow, don't treat yourself less than the guy, right? Or like, why not like sitting together at the table and eating together, right? But it's like, hey, yeah, my husband gonna be at that table with all the grandpa, the friends, the guy's friend of his, or even his business people, or his group of people, his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they are drinking, like having drinks together, but the ladies doesn't really much like to drinks. You see? And so they don't want to get themselves involved in that environment, like drinking beers or alcohol or wine. They have all the guys doing that together, yeah? And they want to be like together with the ladies, sometimes with the kids, and they taking care of that side. Make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I wish I knew this before, so I was less pushy when I was like, yeah, guys, come on with me. And they were like, no, we're fine. It's like, okay. Because I didn't want to be the only woman drinking with the guys, but I was.
Right?
Yeah. And also, like, I remember during that dinner, we had many different type of, like throughout Vietnam, I try different foods that will be considered extremely weird here in the States. Like, I remember eating duck meat, eating the balut eggs.
Oh, okay.
The balut eggs are like these, I don't know, boiled eggs, but with the chicken already developed inside. You can eat it even, sometimes you can even, I couldn't try it. I was like, no, like, because I had the dog meat before, and I was like, okay, the dog meat is enough. I don't think I can. But I had the little ones.
Yeah.
The little ones. I like other ones that are much smaller, that are from a different bird. Also, I ate a lot of maggots. These little, these little worms from the silk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's become like if you grow up when a little kid to adult, and you grow up around the environment where everyone just feel like normal when they eat those stuff, then obviously you're gonna feel normal.
Right. No, totally agree with you. Like, from where I am from with capybaras. Yeah. For those who don't know, it's like this Gaian rodent. It looks like a Gaian mouse. For us, it's totally normal. Yeah. So, yeah. And I totally understood that in Vietnam. It's like, this is normal here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, just be aware of that, like that cultural difference, like on the food.
You have a lot of questions for me.
I do, because I know you can answer all of them. Also, I remember when I was especially in Hanoi, because I didn't spend much time in Saigon, which is the capital. I remember seeing a lot of homeless and beggars. So I wanted to ask you that, for you as a tourist visiting, what would be the right thing to do? To give them money or just to ignore them?
Well, I don't know what is the right thing to do, but at the same time, a lot of different people that you see like that, right? If you really get to know them, you really can actually see that they're never gonna be enough, right? Okay. So the first thing first is that, number one is that I feel like if you give them one time, like, it's good that you feel like something to share and something to contribute to them, right? But at the same time, imagine this, right? If you're able to see it this way, it's like a lot of these people, it's beyond the money, because they actually living their life that way. Right. Does it make sense? So let's say this: if they actually imagine, like, if someone actually didn't have a chance to go to school, right? And for them, there's nobody actually taking care of them, right? And when I see, like, wow, what's going on into their life, yeah. So one thing that I started to dig deeper, and I get a chance to really understand too myself when I was in Vietnam, right, is that, well, there's no condition for them to able to go to school, right, or really find a job, right, to actually taking care of themselves and really live a comfortable or regular life. So guess what? They were just out on the street, right? And if they were just so crazy, like hungry, and then just trying to survive themselves, guess what? They were just gonna be they're gonna look for food everywhere, right? It could be on the ground, it can even pick it up and eat them, right? Or some people, they can go to different store and they're trying to steal food, right? Steal things to feed themselves just for survival purpose.
Right.
Yeah. And then also even people that, if now imagine you come to them and you say, well, guess what? I'm gonna give you these stuff to sell. Like it could be gums, it could be a little hair clips, different things, small things, and you give them a tray and you tell them like, hey, if you're able to sell this tray from morning to night time, come back here. Give me the money that you're able to sell them. I'll feed you, right? So I'll take care of you. So at least now they know that they rely on the master or the boss, yeah. And then eventually, since if you don't even help them or you don't even buy a gum from them, guess what? They're gonna try to find a way to sell them all because they gotta make sure they come back with like with money, so that they got feed again and they got a place to stay, right? Eventually, guess what? They don't actually get much from that money that they sell. The master, the boss actually get it, right? And so they still in the same level of condition of living. So they never really become better off, right? So for me, I feel like for you and I and a lot of us, what we are different is just probably on the language that we speak, right? Or where we're coming from, different country, different culture. A lot of the time we are like the same human being as a whole, right? So if we are together, imagine like we get into the point where like, hey, if we can do something bigger for these people, guess what? We can actually start to maybe open up school or open up a center where we can actually fund the center so then these people can have a place and they can start learning to do something. Maybe they can learn how to
like
fix
a skill.
a skill, right? And with the skill, they can become better off that way because now they can use that and they can live with that, yeah?
Right.
And they can take care of themselves. So I feel like, imagine you and I and a lot of us, if we're able to do something about that in a bigger scale, because at the end of the day, we are human beings, right? So one thing that we have in common is that, yeah? As a human being, it's like we share that, right? We share that in the whole world. The love for humanity, that could go beyond the money. But if we have that money as a tool to help these people, I think we can actually make a huge difference in their lives. And if we're able to contribute to society that way, guess what? I'm sure we become better off and we feel like a sense of giving, a sense of contribute to society, maybe feel fulfillment or like happy, right? It's like I actually able to save another human's life, right? And they just like me, right? They just speak another language. They just have a different skin color, but they just like me, right? And then we can do that, and we're able to, like one thing I see, and I'm sure you know that too, is that nowadays, back in the day, maybe a couple of decades ago, we might not have enough resources to make enough food to the whole world to have it. Nowadays, we have more than enough resources. Like we make more food than we need. So all the food that we have, we can actually go around and feed the entire world. But the fact is that there's still country like in Africa like that, and they still have people that are starving to death.
Yeah, I know.
So that's crazy. Like when we see the reality that, and so it's also allow us to have an enormous opportunity to do something about it as a whole, right? And I'm sure if we're able to do that and allow these people, these human beings to be better off, I'm sure our life is going to be better off too, yeah?
No, of course. That's so beautiful, everything you're saying, because it doesn't only apply to Vietnam. Like, we see these cases everywhere, like in many different countries, and we can do something about it. It doesn't have to be this huge thing like, I'm going to go to Vietnam and start funding a school, but hey, maybe you can, or maybe you can start helping by any other way, and doesn't have to be necessarily in Vietnam. There, in your neighborhood, you can start helping that way as well.
Totally. Yeah. I 100% agree. And that's also driving me. It's a driving force for me. Like wake up every day and knowing that, hey, there's so much for us to do,
Yes.
right? And I'm actually here on Earth for a reason, and we can do something bigger than ourselves. And it's not just like one person, but we can do it together, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we can save one life at a time, one human at a time, right?
Yeah.
I actually would just enjoy the concept of a world, a better world, right? A peaceful, right? A such healing world,
Yeah.
right? And yeah.
Yeah, like it's just like this very utopic idea, but why not? And you don't have to change everything at one time, but you can start changing and transforming these little things around your life.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's so true. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Wynne, thank you so much. I know we got a little off track here, but to me this was such an important information, and it's something that you and everyone has to share every day, and like to inspire people to do something for someone else, and doesn't matter if that person is in Vietnam or is your neighbor or in your same city.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast. I actually didn't take that lightly. I really enjoy that, and I see that maybe based on the message that I share with Zana, and this actually got to show to a lot more people, and whoever I got to listen to this podcast, maybe I allow you to have a better understanding about Vietnam, and give you some information on the Vietnamese culture and the people, right? And allow you to maybe consider visit Vietnam one day, and based on what's going on right now, not just Vietnam in the world, I'm sure if we got a chance to get to know each other in the future, right, and we can connect and also do something bigger together. Yeah.
No, definitely. You guys, thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, any comments, suggestions, feedback, if you want to get to know Wynne, let me know. You know where to find me.